Hey everyone, I think we're live now and welcome to the show. With us here today we have Mike Volkin on the other side of the internet. And so we're excited to have him here on the show to talk a lot about marketing and also social entrepreneurship and growing impact through growth strategies and some other cool experience that you have to share with us since you've had so much time working on different types of marketing companies in the past, a wealth of experience to share with our listeners. So thanks for coming to the show, Mike.
Cool, I'm honored to be here. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome. So Mike and I actually met a few months ago now, and we got connected in the interwebs, and we're chatting about social entrepreneurship and impact and how to, build more impact into the work that people are doing, whether it's on the traditional business side, how, people like Mike who have a wealth of experience starting up really successful traditional businesses, how can those that are in the social entrepreneurship side of the space come in and be integrated into existing businesses? And also on the flip side, how can all of that wealth of experience with marketing help growing social entrepreneurs and get in front of more of the people that they can help and get in touch with. Yeah, excited to have you here on the show, Mike. Would love if you just want to introduce yourself, the short picture, and then we'll dive into more details as we get going.
Yeah, so obviously my name is Mike Volkin. I run a marketing agency called 800 Pound Marketing, and it's 800lbmarketing.com, and we're what's called a fractional CMO company. So we'll go into startups and mid-market leaders, usually companies that make less than 5 million in revenue a year. And we'll just create a marketing strategy, build their marketing team, create marketing processes. And the reason why I've built that company is because of the social entrepreneur aspect of it. I wanted to give back to a particular niche that I am passionate about. So a large portion of that I don't want to say a large portion, a portion of that revenue, it goes to a specific charity. And really the difference between that and a normal marketing consultancy is that our passion is driven by the amount of charities that we collect rather than by profit. We could talk about that more later, but yeah, so that's what I'm doing now. I also have a couple startups. I have, Crowdsourcia, which we could talk about later if you like. It's a feedback platform for entrepreneurs and startup companies. So yeah, I'm staying busy mostly with my marketing consulting company, 800 Pound Marketing.
Awesome. Okay. And you know what, Mike, I saw on your LinkedIn page when I was checking it out that you had this awesome testimonial or it's not called testimonials on LinkedIn, but somebody was saying how impressed they were. You are. And so I'd love for you to share with us, what does your typical day look like? So you're managing a lot of different companies here, and obviously you get a lot done. So
yeah, with a marketing consulting company, just with any consulting company, managing time is very important. So a typical day, I have about 6 clients I work with now, and a typical day involves me managing my 8 contractors/employees that do specific tasks for each of these contractors, and I project manage all of them. So before my day even starts, my entire calendar is already full. And anything else that tries to come into my day is more of an interruption than anything. So my calendar is my godsend for me, really. I already know exactly what I'm doing starting from 6:30 in the morning to 6:30 at night. Usually I stop about, it's a 12-hour day, but it's fun because I'm working by myself, doing my own thing, setting my own schedule. So if I want to take a couple hours off, I do that. But a typical day for me, by 10 a.m. I usually have all my emails answered from the day before, and I'll start with client work. I usually book about an hour a day per client and just keep projects moving. The way I manage projects is through Teamwork, teamwork.com. I love that. If you haven't heard of it, I don't get any money for referring it, but it's just a really cool platform for managing tasks and employees. So a lot of my day I'm in Teamwork, moving projects along, shuffling them from one stage to another.
Cool. You sound so organized. And I haven't heard of Teamwork, but I did start using Asana recently, which was just amazing to brain dump all of the tasks into categories. So
nice. Yeah. I've used Asana as well. I just prefer Teamwork which is a little more friendly if you're managing multiple people. But Slack, Asana, Teamwork, all those just help my business run on a daily basis. So Teamwork, I'm in at least 3 hours a day, just moving projects along. And another aspect of what I like to do, I didn't mention earlier, was I talk to clients and I send out proposals. That's a big part of owning a consulting company, is really understanding what your client wants. A lot of times they don't even know. They just know they need marketing, but they don't know what they need done or how long it's going to take or how much it's going to cost. So, a lot of my day is talking with the different clients and understanding their businesses and their needs. So.
Sure. And so that's actually an interesting point about people don't necessarily know what they need. So maybe you can share a little bit of your insight on that for people watching, trying to connect and communicate with, potential partners or other stakeholders or their clients who are going to be paying them. Kind of the highest level insight you have for to those people.
Yeah, typically if you are an entrepreneur and you're looking to hire a contractor to do some work and you don't really know what you need, there's a lot of platforms out there. I have a love-hate relationship with a company called Upwork. They have a lot of negative things I could say about them, but they also have a lot of great things as well. But I'm in Upwork a lot. For example, I'll send out a proposal, but a lot of times, I'd say 80% of the time, the client doesn't really understand what they want. So my tip to you would be, don't try to figure out what you want and don't try to state what you want. Just state what your end goal is, what your need. If you have no idea what marketing is, but you need some kind of process behind marketing, don't throw out words like, I need inbound marketing or I need SEO. You probably don't need that at the stage that you're in. So just say what's your end goal. Just say, hey, listen, I'm looking for some marketing processes. We're cash flow positive now, for example. And, I don't know what I need. I need someone to come in and just tell me what I need instead of trying to guess, because you'll be getting a whole bunch of proposals that are not relevant to you, and you're going to waste some time and money. Eventually, in the end, you're not going to get what you want. So,
a good point. So just tell it like it is in terms of the challenge you're trying to tackle, whether that's, grow traffic to your website or whatever, and then let the expert weigh in.
Yeah. One of the things I was talking to a client the other day, and he fancies himself a marketer, but he hasn't been in marketing in 3 years. So he was giving me all these things like for SEO that he wants done. And I was like, man, these don't even come close. These weren't SEO tactics for 2.5 years. There's not even relevant anymore. So I was explaining to them all these new things and these new terms. So even if you have been a marketer before and you've done some marketing tasks in the past, marketing has changed so much, even from year to year, month to month. So again, just start with the end goal. What's your end goal? What do you really want to get out of this project, or the reason why you're posting on Upwork or these other freelance platforms? Don't guess and go in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to get back into kind of the tactical and the business side of things, but I'm just to get so that people can get to know you a little bit better. I'd love to ask. I love asking this question. What would you tell yourself if you could go back to your 20-year-old self and share some that person?
Yeah, good question. 2 important things. Number 1, never work with friends or family. I've lost a couple really close friends over trying to, share my business ideas, and they want to get in on it, and just doesn't work out. And number 2, stay focused. It's funny you say go back to my 20-year-old self. That was the time that I built my first business. I've built and sold 3 businesses now, and the first one I started that I eventually sold, I was 20, and my biggest problem was I was trying to be the jack of all trades. I was trying to be the biz dev guy. I was trying to be the marketer. I was trying to be the virtual assistant. I was wearing all these hats, and I was spreading myself too thin. And I get that if you're cash strapped and you don't have enough money, you need to do everything for yourself. But launch a business when it's the right time and stay focused. I had 3 different business ideas. I was trying to run them all at once. Just stay focused. Do your research. Get some product market fit going, and really just stay focused on one business and one avenue, and if you can, bootstrap it as much as possible. Don't look for investors. Don't look for business partners like friends or family. Do it as much as possible yourself, or if you're married, with your spouse, if that's the direction you're going in. So if I were to go back to my 20-year-old self, it would be stay focused and don't do business with friends and family.
Yeah, good advice. That's interesting because I think there's definitely some success stories with friends and family doing business together, but I've tried both actually. And the friends, we're still friends, of course, but we don't work on the business together anymore. And I do help out my mom with her business, and it has its challenging moments, but it is really rewarding as well. So,
Yeah.
but that's good advice. It can definitely go sideways.
There are definitely stories out there with friends working together and being best friends, or even becoming friends after they formed a partnership. But for every success story I can tell you, I can give you 10 that didn't work out. And I've lost a couple really close friends because they didn't work as hard as me. You know, we have a 50-50 relationship, and I'm putting in 20 hours and someone else is putting in 2. You know, they might have a child, and you know, I guess you could say fortunate enough where I can start a business now. I don't have any kids yet. You know, when you're starting a business partnership, make sure your family obligations are aligned as well too, because that will really skew the hours you could spend on a business for sure.
Yeah, great point there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive back into kind of the business side of things and also the social entrepreneurship side, because I'd love to hear your perspective, having had so much experience with all these businesses that you've started and sold and that you're running, and then becoming more aware of this idea of giving back as you do well and do good at the same time. So what's your thinking around that, and what drew you or made you want to figure out a way to blend more impact into the work that you're already doing, whether that's through giving back in the charities or even in other ways later on, or supporting social entrepreneurs with your expertise as well? Would just love to hear your thought process on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes it takes a tragedy to really turn your life around. But we had this original meeting scheduled a couple weeks ago. I told you I needed to cancel because my mom was sick. Eventually, she passed away at about an hour after I canceled the show. But my come to light moment there was she started getting really sick. We could start to see the end of the road. And I started having those thoughts, as you typically would when you're about to lose a close one, right? It's like, what am I doing this for? What am I here for? Why do I go to work every day? And at the same time this was all happening, I was ending a very stressful salary job, and I was just starting my consulting company. So I was really starting to gear my mentality around working around your passion, creating something around your passion. What do I like to do? So I really sat down with myself and had some brainstorming sessions, and my wife, and we talked about really what makes me happy, whether I can make money at it or not. What really makes me happy? Well, nature makes me happy. I love animals. I love tennis. I'm very passionate about tennis. When I'm on the tennis court, nothing else matters. I don't care about emails or projects or anything. So I started gearing my life around building a consulting business around helping country clubs and tennis facilities, which is what I do now. Tennisclubmarketing.com is a subsidiary of 800 Pound Marketing. But the social entrepreneur side came to be where, I would love to be a zookeeper, right? I don't have any experience working with animals at that level, but I just love helping animals. And one of the things I wanted to do was give back to animals, and that was my niche, but I couldn't see myself making money in the animal space because I didn't have any experience of it. So I went back and I thought, what do I have experience in? Well, marketing, and I love to work with businesses. So why don't I start a social entrepreneur business, 800 Pound Marketing, which will collect money or profits and give back a set portion of that to animal charities. So one of the companies I work with is called the SOI Dog Foundation, and they rescue animals that are in dog meat related countries like South Korea and China, and they take them out of these dog meat trades and they ship them back to America to find foster families. So it's a great organization, and they have a great impact around the world. And all of this circles around to, someday when I'm laying in my casket, I want people to remember me as someone who gave back more than they took from the earth. And that's important to me. And so far, nothing else from this point on matters. I don't care how much I charge a client, as long as I can collect some money to give it back to a foundation. And someday, hopefully, I'll start my own foundation. But baby steps into this point. I'm just finding a few charities that I'm very passionate about and making that a priority to give back. So.
Yeah, wonderful. And I think, like, when we were talking before, you were also thinking about how using your skills and experience might also be able to support entrepreneurs with, that knowledge transfer as well, and kind of share some of the learning that you've had over the last.
Yeah.
So do you see that as kind of a next step after building off of what you already have set up in your company now?
Well, the offer is open. I haven't really marketed yet because I don't know how, but the offer still stands. If anybody's listening to this show and they're a social entrepreneur, or they give back a strict or set portion of their revenues to charity, I'll be happy to provide free business coaching, whether it's a one-time session or a monthly or a strict weekly basis. Part of what I do for social entrepreneurs is I'll give back my experience, business coaching or marketing coaching, to really get you ultimately to drive more revenue and growth to your company so you can give back more. So that's just another way that I try to give back to the community, other than just through my passionate charities, is to help other social entrepreneurs as well. So.
Awesome. So what do you see, and this would be for social entrepreneurs or anybody, what do you see as a big mistake that people make when they're tackling their marketing plan? So, I mean, the first one that we kind of touched on is asking for specific things, and instead of being aware of that long-term goal and then for that goal. But what other mistakes do you see people make?
The other big mistake is people just try to take on so much. There's so much you can do for marketing. I mean, just digital marketing alone. I just created a marketing plan for a client that has 113 line items on it. Now, the problem is he wants to take on all of this at once, but he doesn't have the budget for it. You don't have to take on every marketing piece you hear of all at once, even though it could help. So what you want to do is pick, I like the phrase, low-hanging fruit. Pick the ones that you think will give you the best return on your investment with the least amount of outgoing expenses and time. So, and ones that you like to do. Sometimes there's, for example, social media. I have a client who doesn't like social media, doesn't believe in it, but it's definitely a low-hanging fruit for his particular business. If you don't like it, then don't do it. It's your company. You should be passionate about what you're doing. Let's pick another avenue, even though I know it could produce a good ROI if you spend time on it. You don't like to do it, then don't do it. That's one of the luxuries of owning your own business, is you get to do what you want to do, marketing-wise and business-wise. So really, the big tip here is you don't have to be the jack of all trades. Pick 1, 2, 3 marketing avenues that you like and that have a good possible return on investment, and just go after it.
That's really great advice. I've definitely been caught in the rabbit hole myself, and seen other people caught in that rabbit hole of hearing XYZ marketing gurus say, well, you have to be on Instagram, or you have to be over here, you have to be guest blogging. And it's like everybody has have-to strategy, and if you listen to all of it, then you're really going to have no time to even work on the business itself. You'll just be half doing all these different strategies instead of enjoying them so that you can make it work. So it's great to hear you say that.
Companies have built there's been many multi-million-dollar companies built on just picking 1 or 2 marketing strategies. You don't need to do them all at once. So if you just want to focus on content marketing, you can build a multi-million-dollar business if you do it right. So.
Okay, good to know. So is something that you think you do a lot differently than other people that might have contributed to the successes you've had, or the way you approach your businesses?
Yeah, good question. I see being an entrepreneur as kind of an art form. It's kind of like a painter approaches a canvas. One of the things I like to think I do differently is I approach problems and growth strategies differently than everybody. I like to look at the whole 360-degree view of a company. A lot of clients come to me and they say, okay, well, I have this product, I want to market it. Well, the first thing I look for is other opportunities to, number 1, help them grow that particular product better, but 2, help them cross-sell and upsell. Give them the whole 360-degree view of what they need to do. And that's really the art form. There's really no set process that someone can go through to take that. It's everybody's unique, every company's different. So that's something I like to think I do differently, is I approach a company with a different view of building their product than maybe anybody else at their company would have thought of.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I was actually talking last night with someone at an event, and he happens to be an engineer, a master's student, and he was talking about how engineers are taught to problem solve so well, and go through the steps. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're getting it all solved. We're getting it all organized. But what he's realized more recently is the big flaw in that engineering mindset. The problem solving ability is wonderful, but what if you're solving the wrong problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this idea of being aware of all of the context and everything that's influencing the problem you think you have, because you might realize you have a different problem. And of course, if you're solving the wrong one, you're not going to get the results. So
it's very well said, especially from engineers, because I work a lot with engineers and computer developers, and they have a very set process with the way they like to. They're coders, right? So they like to have a set process with the way they approach problems. And sometimes entrepreneurs and engineers kind of butt heads because they don't tackle the problem the same way, even though the end product is the same. So it's great to get them together and work together, because a lot of times you'll get some great brainstorming sessions. And that's ultimately the reason why Crowdsourcia started, is because I like to get a lot of different feedback on projects, so you can get everybody's different points of view moving forward for a wide variety of business projects. So I recognize that problem, and that's something I deal with every single day, is different mindsets in the way people tackle a problem or a task.
And how, different perspectives can really shed some light on things that one person might not have. Can you tell us more about Crowdsourcia? I love that you have your shirt on, and you mentioned a little bit, but what's it all about?
Yeah. In the shortest possible sentence, it's a feedback platform for entrepreneurs. I built this out of necessity. It's actually not even launched yet. I'm still developing it. It should be launched in a couple months, maybe 3 months. 2 years in the making now. But I developed Crowdsourcia as a need for my problems building companies. And what I see as a serial entrepreneur is, I would start off with a product or an idea. I would have one direction or a thought process and something that I would like. And then I would hire somebody to take it to follow my direction and my goal. And then that person would take it off on a tangent. And so I realized that if I asked 5 people their opinion on how I should take this product or grow this product or service, I'd get 20 different responses with 5 different people. So I thought, wow, it'd be great to get everybody in a room together, all these experts together, and have them just brainstorm with each other. There's no platform out there like that now. What I do is I give a project to a consultant, I'll get it back, I'll give it to another consultant, get it back, try to melt the ideas together. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a feedback platform where you would load your product into this project room, or any kind of project you have, into this collaboration room. And you would invite all these experts, and these experts are already pre-vetted on the site. You just pick the ones you want. You want 2 marketing guys, a business development guy, a finance guy, and a coder all in the room together. And you're all talking about, I don't know, conversions on, better conversions on an e-commerce page. So they're all giving you their feedback, and not only that, but they're all feeding off each other's ideas. So it's a very long process. Like I said, 2 years now I've been working on it, because there's no platform out there like that now. And what I realized is, big problem, it's very expensive to hire all these consultants. I've got 5 consultants in this room. No one's going to pay $10,000 to find out the conversion analysis on an e-commerce page. So what we did is we built a platform around charging experts per minute. So you don't have to hire these guys for $5,000 a pop. You're only paying per minute. So it's micro consulting, all in a room together. So now you're getting away with getting 5 experts for a couple $100, as opposed to hiring them for thousands of dollars each. So we're almost done. We're about 3 months away from launching.
That's really exciting, because not only are you getting the micro piece, but the collaboration piece is worth so much. If you can get those experts bouncing ideas off of each other, and 1 + 1 = 5 kind of thing.
Exactly.
In terms of getting some breakthroughs in the ideas that come out of that, right?
Right. So we ran a beta test, 3 of them, but 1 in particular. They all showed good positive ROI. 1 in particular was a newsletter, for example. A client gave us a newsletter they wanted to send out. They put it in the project collaboration room, picked their experts, and then they went ahead and they sent the newsletter to 40,000 people, the ones that were before it went into the project room. And then the same exact newsletter after it was roundtabled by some marketing communication experts and some copywriters and whatnot. So they sent 2 sets of newsletters to the same to their same audience of 80,000 people. One went to 40,000, another went to another 40,000. And the one that was roundtabled by our experts had a double, over 100% more of a click rate than the one that didn't. So it only cost him like $65. He only spent a few dollars in the collaboration room, got a few pieces of feedback. But just that little bit of having those ideas and the way you should phrase things and format the newsletter helped so much. So.
Wow. Yeah, that can make a big difference for sure. Well, I'm excited to check that out because, as you know, we do lots of collaboration stuff in the Changemakers Association community. The way we do it right now between the members, the way we facilitate it is on kind of a chat like this, and we hot seat one member, and then the other members join in the chat or watch later, and we kind of mastermind that one person.
Cool.
Of the month, but I could see this room idea being really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, everything's documented and written down, and you can download it. And yeah, so yeah, it's different and it's unique, and there's a lot of custom software involved in coding. So it's a very slow process. So I'll let you know when it launches. I'll be excited to have you try it out.
So I see we're kind of near the end of our half hour together. So I want to check in with the chat and see how we're doing and see if we have any questions.
Okay.
And it's really small on my phone. Oh, we do. Oh no, that's a question for Beth. Sorry. You guys are asking each other questions in the chat. Do you have any questions for us? Let's see if something comes up. Last week, Solène asked a question and then I couldn't see it on my. Actually missed the question, which was unfortunate. But so we'll see if any questions pop in. And in the meantime, I'd love to know what's one of the best investments that you've made in yourself or in your business, or the biggest ROI, whether that was financial or otherwise.
Yeah, good question. I would have to say when I started hiring people instead of trying to do it all myself, it was really cool. I'd wake up and like, wow, that's done. That's cool. A project is never done exactly the way you want it, but if somebody can get you 80% there, that's all the better. And that allowed me to scale my companies a lot quicker. So yeah, I would say hiring people. If you've never hired people before and you're that type of person that just kind of hold on to things, just let yourself go for a little bit and hire 1 or 2 people, even if it's a small job. It'll allow you to work on your business instead of in your business, and scale it to infinity if you hire the right people.
Yeah, so that definitely, I want to ask you about that, because getting started with hiring people feels like a lot more work initially, right? So not only are you kind of wrestling with your own control freak mindset, if you've been doing everything yourself, it's kind of hard to let go of the tasks themselves. So that's one challenge, but also, you have to get all your workflows out, you have to communicate it, you have to interview and find somebody, and then all the back and forth. So I imagine once you get your system going, that part, you're not adding that much more work, but in the beginning, how do you, that roadblock, that hurdle?
You're right. Yeah, that at the beginning it almost seems like more work to find and hire somebody. But there's 2 things. Number one, you'll find that your work is pretty repetitive. Sometimes you'll see tasks that, for example, when I create marketing strategies now for a company, I'll revert back to a previous one that was similar and start with a template. So I don't have to create the whole thing from scratch. But number 2, the people you hire, you're going to learn to either like them or not like them. So the ones that you do like, you're going to use over and over again. So you have to explain less as you go on, because the more you work together, the more you understand each other's, idiosyncrasies and how you work. So it's now for me, for example, my go-to tech guy that I keep busy almost full time, I literally just forward him emails and he knows what I need done. I don't have to go through this long explanation process. I'll set up his tasks in Teamwork, or he will, and we just, he just bangs it out, and I barely even communicate with him other than when he sends me a draft final of the project. So as you get used to working with particular people and you start liking certain people more than others, you're going to find it less and less work as you go on.
So basically you just have to trust that you'll get over that initial hurdle and that it'll all be totally worth it once you're organized.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have lots of free time.
Awesome. So we don't have any new questions coming in that I can see. Missing one, you can a different avenue so that I can see it. Wrap up, I suppose. Advice. Oh, sorry, we do have a question. What is the first marketing thing that you would advise social entrepreneurs to outsource? That's a good question. So outsourcing is great, but what do you start with? Great question.
Yeah. That could go in 1,000 different directions. But I would say the first thing would be a virtual assistant. You need someone good to take care of the little tasks that you don't want to do. On Upwork, you can hire somebody from the Philippines for under $5 an hour. And if you have a lot of tasks, maybe it's connecting with people on LinkedIn or finding influencers on social media, just give them to a virtual assistant. And for $5 an hour or $8 an hour, you can find someone that speaks perfect English in the Philippines, that works. They're 4 hours ahead of me, and I'm on Pacific time, 1 hour ahead on the Eastern schedule. So take all of your miscellaneous projects that are just taking up a large portion of your time and just outsource them and stay focused on the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. So little things, yeah. I was just thinking today to have someone to help with all the graphics. Like there's just the graphics, there's so many, on websites and training, like we do a lot of training modules at social media, and there's always so much more you could create and share, but you just run out of time.
I know.
So
that's one of the things. I actually love creating graphics, but I love Photoshop, but I have 2 designers and I keep them busy full time. There's always graphics to do, and I could just lose myself an entire day in graphics, and you got to outsource that because it doesn't focus on the bigger picture,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay, awesome. Well, let's wrap up here. I guess where's the best place for people to get in touch with you if they want to reach out and
they can take advantage of free business coaching and free marketing help. Just email me through my 800-pound marketing site. That's 800lbmarketing.com. Okay,
perfect. And any last words before we sign off today?
No, I guess my last words were, anybody listening that has a social entrepreneur business or social goal, I'm available for help. I will help you as much as I possibly can to make sure that you drive revenue to your company and help other social entrepreneurs and help other social causes. So that would be my closing argument, is just reach out for help. Don't be afraid. I'm here to help.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mike. And thanks for sharing all of the great insight that you shared today. It was really fun having you on the show.
It was my pleasure.
Awesome. And I'll just let people know watching, if you are watching live or you catch the replay later, if you sign up for the newsletter that goes out every Tuesday to let you know who's on the show and what's happening and links to the past shows, you can do so at globalsocentlab.com. So we'd love to have you there. And also, if you're not in the Global Social Entrepreneurs Lab group on Facebook yet, it would be awesome to have you there too. And that's where we share lots of fun things and connect people within the community. Thanks so much, Mike.
Bye. Thank you.
We'll sign off. Okay, bye.
Bye.